From the National Weather Service in Raleigh, it's Nick Petro with your routine weekly briefing for Central North Carolina, covering Monday, August 18 today through Sunday, the 24th of August. And let's go ahead and sort of jump right into things. Of course, we're gonna look very closely here in a minute at Erin, but just to kind of run you through the big picture, and then we'll come back and take a deeper dive into the Erin and Erin impacts. Just wanted to point out today that we have a cold front that's going to slip southward into and try to make its way into the state. Cold fronts always have a tough time this time of year to really push too far south, but this one's going to get close enough, or at least get far enough into the state where it should set off perhaps a few mainly afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms today. The main hazard with that will be more in the way of heavy rain and localized flooding, and less so any gusty winds or other severe impacts. So not everybody's going to see rain but if you're closer to the I-95 corridor and closer to the southern tier of North Carolina, southern Piedmont, southern coastal plain, that's where you'll have the best chances for showers and storms today. Then tomorrow, a few showers Tuesday along and east of I-95 corridor. There might be a forerunning outer band, like one of these convergent bands that are way out ahead of tropical cyclones that might try to slip across eastern North Carolina. So that's why I have a few showers highlighted there with that bullet point. It won't be a big deal. It won't produce a lot of heavy rain. We're not outlook for severe flooding tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, as Erin is making sort of late Wednesday night, early Thursday, as Erin is making its kind of closest approach as it's recurving along the Carolina coast. Obviously, it's going to turn a little breezy late on Wednesday across central North Carolina, but it's not going to be real windy. I mean, I look out the window right now and I'm seeing trees blowing around in the air, right? We probably have 5 to 10 miles per hour wind right now with these trees kind of moving the way they are, right? When I say breezy, I mean, the trees might be bending a little bit more. The flags will probably be blowing a lot more and standing straight out. You know what I mean? That you'll feel the air moving, right? But it's probably not going to be strong enough to create any problems. So you'll know that something's a little different because air will be moving a little bit more vigorously than it otherwise would. But I would hesitate in calling it windy. And again, that'll be late Wednesday night, so into early Thursday. So anyway, and there could be a few passing showers again. Not a lot of rain with this for central North Carolina. Okay, once we get past Erin, high pressure will nose down the mid-Atlantic and coast, and there's going to be sort of a leftover pressure trough, a little bit of a boundary hanging over that will set up across the southeast. I think we're going to have enough northeast flow and dry air from essentially, Pinehurst eastward for a dry forecast for Thursday and Friday. But if you're anywhere west of that, if you're west of the 73 corridor, I believe, that runs north and south, if you're west of basically the central Piedmont, you're going to see some rain perhaps setting back up. Maybe some showers and thunderstorms over. Let's just call it the western half of the state. We'll keep it simple. We'll call it the western half of the state. Could see some shower and thunderstorm activity late in the week, but the eastern half of the state, Thursday and Friday, is more likely to be drier. Okay, and then over the weekend, it's not going to be a washout, but we'll have some shower and thunderstorm activity from time to time. If you have outdoor plans, don't worry, it won't be a washout. It will be dry most of the time, but again, make sure you're ready to get indoors when the rain or thunderstorm approaches. And then hot today, but if I can deliver any good news with this forecast, we're going to see near normal temps. And by the way, near normal is like 85 to 87, which I will take anytime over 95 to 97, right? So hot today, and then near normal temps the rest of this week. And in fact, it gets even better. Try low 80s this weekend. Low 80s. I mean, how could it get any better than that? So anyway, that's the big picture, right? All right, so how's the rain shaping up again? You'll notice the rain on this graphic here is mainly, the most of it will be from Raleigh eastward, I-95 eastward. A little bit, more scattered around Tuesday. Wednesday, it's tough to say. You know, Wednesday could be a little bit greener on this map than what we're showing. It just depends on the track of Erin. So I wouldn't necessarily take Wednesday's map you're seeing right here and say, oh, it's going to be dry, right? There'll probably be a few showers, particularly late in the day. Same thing on Thursday, particularly across the east. Again, the ultimate track will determine. But look how the western half of the state sets up kind of on the unsettled side, Thursday into Friday, and then just your typical scattered shower activity over the weekend. The 5-day totals are shown there. So certainly not a big, ironically, look at that 5-day total. The heaviest rain in the next 5 days, well, actually, when you add up 5 days worth of rain, the heaviest rain is going to be out in the mountains, not even associated with Erin. So anyway, think about that for a minute. You know, there's other weather events going on other than Erin, and those other weather events are going to dump multiple inches of rain, perhaps across the high terrain out in the western part of the state. Okay. All right, what about flood potential? This is the excessive rainfall outlook, and today we're highlighted from basically Raleigh to the south and east. Again, any of those showers and storms today could bring some very localized flooding. And then right now we don't have anything highlighted for Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, we'll keep an eye on Erin's track and see if that needs to be adjusted. But right now, not really much of a big rainfall threat with Erin. All right, this is from the Storm Prediction Center, the severe thunderstorm potential. We don't really have any highlighted areas, limited or no risk for organized severe storms. I should put organized in bold because you never, you know, a thunderstorm you never know when a thunderstorm's going to put down a gusty wind or two. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, getting into more clearer details on Erin, and you see those bullet points across the top. Number one, Erin's strengthening. It's expected to grow even larger with a larger wind field. All this moving water is going to produce a life-threatening surf and rip currents across the eastern U.S., all of eastern seaboard, not just North Carolina, this week. I wanted to highlight, though, no impacts really other than just some moving air and a stray shower or two for central North Carolina. Now, for eastern North Carolina, it's a different story, but mainly along the immediate coastal areas. You're going to hear probably as we get towards the middle and later part of the week in the news, a lot of stories about coastal flooding, inundation along the Outer Banks. That's expected. You know, Highway 12 being overwashed and maybe even, you know, washouts in certain places. And clearly the rip current threat is going to be substantial, you know, starting as early as today, but especially tomorrow onward. So, you know, oftentimes when these storms pass by off the coast, you know, there's enough sunshine at the beach that it looks, you know, tempting to want to go to the beach here in these last couple days of summer and enjoy some beach time. But I'll tell you what, if I was at the beach or if I knew of friends or family at the beach, I'd tell them don't put a toe in the water. That'd be my advice because, you know, these rip currents are going to be deadly, you know, I mean, frequent and very powerful. So the best advice I can give you is if you know somebody going to the beach for these last couple days of summer, tell them to stay out of the water for their own good. So anyway, just keep that in mind. By the way, you can get complete details on coastal impacts. So if you have coastal interests, visit our friends down at the National Weather Service Newport Moorhead City office. There's a link to their briefing. They have a ton of details if you want to see what areas of the coast are going to get hit the hardest, okay, with surge and coastal flooding. All right, anything else out in the Atlantic? Well, the Hurricane Center is watching this area of disturbed weather over the eastern Atlantic, and some of the models have this spinning up into a tropical cyclone on the heels of Erin. They're given that a 50% chance of formation through the next 7 days, and really almost following the same track. So this isn't a surprise though. Here we are. What is today? The 18th of August. So we're making our way towards the peak of the hurricane season. So not unusual. Just it's that time of year. We gotta stay on guard, and you know, one comes by, you gotta wait for the next one and the next one and the next one. So this is our high season here for tropical cyclone activity. All right, looking further down the road for 8 to 14 days, you know, it's it's tricky when, you know, it shows above normal, to our north and above wait, no, let me start over because I'm tripping over my own words here. When you have above normal temps to our south and below normal temps to our north, that almost suggests to me that there's going to be an air mass boundary somewhere right over us, right? So, so it's tricky to say which of those we're going to be, and that could change because boundary locations can move. So I don't know. My confidence is low in what the temperatures are going to be like 8 to 14 days from now. But the odds signal slightly above normal precip. And like I said before, normal highs this time of year are 85 to 87. Yeah, pleasant. All right. So this is our graphical hazardous weather outlook. And, I want to encourage you to check us out at weather.gov/Raleigh. Visit this product. When you go to weather.gov/Raleigh, scroll down, you see the little icon there on the right. Click that icon. Now, sometimes these little chiclet buttons are a little misleading because even if a tiny, tiny little smidgen of our central North Carolina coverage area is included, it'll light up the whole thing, right? So I would encourage you to go to our webpage, click that icon there to get to this little graphic, and then click on the little buttons, the little highlighted colored buttons to see exactly who and where has that threat, okay? So keep that in mind. And yeah, look at that. Friday is lit up for excessive rainfall. And that is mainly due to the rain across the western half of the state. All right, so please keep that in mind. All right, so there will be, again, some bonus material here at the end. I will take a little deeper dive in there and just hang on for just a minute if you're interested. If you don't have the time, thanks for hanging out with us this far. But this is the highlights. Scattered mainly afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms today, thanks to a backdoor front. Watch out for the marginal risk of excessive rainfall and the localized flooding, mainly south and east of the triangle today. Maybe a few showers on Tuesday along the I-95 corridor and eastward is maybe way out in the head of Erin, a forerunner band might try to slip through. Other than that, perhaps a few breezy showers late Wednesday night as Erin's passing by to our east. Late week drying trend for the eastern half of the state and a late week wetter trend for the western half, not related to Erin. Okay, and then widely scattered typical afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms over the weekend. Won't be a washout. Hot today, and then actually kind of pleasant temps the rest of this week, and even better for the weekend. All right, so that is our prepared slides. Let me take a toggle over here to current data. And first thing I'm starting with, this is water vapor. Why water vapor? Because it shows the atmospheric patterns, the wind flow that steers weather. And one thing I want to point out, a couple things I'd like to point out, what's going on. Of course, here is Erin, right? And this is an area of upper level, I would say, we call it high pressure, upper level high pressure. It's not really upper level high pressure. We call it a ridge because of the warmth and the heights. But I guess you can call it upper level high. But anyway, the wind flows clockwise around that, right? You have an upper level low. Oh no, that's a ridge too. Sorry, that's a ridge. But notice you have this frontal system that I talked about in this little trough. You see this little kink in the lines here? That's a trough, and this is associated with the front. And this line that I just drew here, this is the feature that's going to give our showers and thunderstorms today, okay? There's another important feature that I want to draw your attention. See this little kink in the line right here, kink in the line, kink in the line, kink in the line, and this rain right here? This system moving across the Midwest is what is going to carve out once this system right here comes over the ridge and dives southward, it should sharpen up this trough enough where the winds will kind of flow like this around it, okay? And that is what should take Erin and swing it up to the north and northeast, okay? Now this is a delicate dance because, this is the system we're waiting for. This is kind of, what's saving things for us. Okay, so we'll have to see how this all plays out and how much it, if it were slower, maybe Erin makes a little bit closer approach. If it's faster and then carves this trough out a little deeper, maybe it gets kicked to the east faster. The bottom line is we can never kind of let this situation go. We have to watch it all the way until it begins to move away from the coast. So Right now, all the models, well, most of the big models, the models that we use day in and day out generally agree and concur with this official track, right? So anyway, that's the way things appear to be setting up, and we'll take a closer look in. And you can see once I load this, bear with me here for just a second here. Once I load this, and I'll turn off these upper heights. There we go. Oh, bear with me for just a second. Once I turn that off, you can see that the forecast track is doing pretty good. Oh, I apologize for the loading delay there. So actually, you can see the eye right there. I don't know about you, but it looks like it's going right over the forecast point, if not maybe just a smidge to the east northeast of it. So anyway, but that could be a wobble, who knows? But the bottom line is this thing should begin making more of its turn to the north, west, and then north. So all I'm basically taking you through this for is for the purposes of telling you, there's always still, uncertainties, and it's a big dance, right? Of weather players. Who would have thought that, you have one trough here, that's going to give us our rain today. You have another one here that's going to carve out the trough even more, and then create that that trough that's going to steer it. But I mean, things could all could slightly deviate is what I'm saying. So don't let your guard up. But for us in Central North Carolina, clearly, if everything stays pretty much on track, we should be fine. Like I said, other than a little bit of a breeze on Wednesday night into early Thursday, maybe a few passing showers. Other than that, that should be it. I will point out, though, there is a lot of moving water headed this way, a lot of energy, right? So regardless of any tweaks in the track, the Outer Banks of North Carolina are going to get hit pretty hard with rough surf, erosion, beach erosion, rip currents, the wave run up, the overwash on 12, all the stuff you're hearing about for the Outer Banks. Again, be sure to check our neighboring office out at the National Weather Service Newport office. In fact, let me just take you on a quick visit of their webpage. If you go to weather.gov, remember, if it's weather you love, it's weather.gov, right? And I need to turn off this autofill. Okay, so starting at weather.gov, if you just click here on Eastern North Carolina, that will take you to the National Weather Service Newport Moorhead City page. And you can see all the watches, warnings, advisories. Right here, their top news, latest briefing on Hurricane Erin. And then this is their full briefing that talks about, maximum wave. I mean, we're talking 15 to 20 foot waves impacting the coast, and where the coastal flood risk is, rip current information, and so on and so forth. In terms of maximum wind gusts at the coast, this is the expectations here. Now, again, if Erin takes a little more jog to the west, then these winds might be a little higher, okay? But one other thing I want to draw your attention to, remember, if it's weather.ulove, it's weather.gov. And then if you click on Central North Carolina, okay, I don't think we have this linked anywhere, but if you add NC at the end, right there, okay, that'll take you to our state maps. And let me draw your attention to number one, the wind, because that's what we were just talking about. And if you look at max wind gust for today, you can see not bad. Max wind gust for tomorrow, not bad. Oh, there is Wednesday. So you can see those higher winds along the coast. And for us, yeah, maybe a gust of 20, 22, maybe a stray 25 mile per hour wind gusts. But, that's about it. So nothing that's going to, cause any problems for us here in Central North Carolina. In terms of the rain, you can use this rain as a proxy for the forecast. Here's today's rain. We expect most of the rain along and east of I-95, right? There's tomorrow. Remember I said a couple of those forerunner bands, convergent bands way out ahead, maybe a 1/10 to a 1/4 inch of rain, again, eastern North Carolina. Look at Wednesday. I mean, really, the only rain we're expecting is right up along the immediate coast. There's Thursday. So with the actual storm, we just don't have that much rain in the forecast. While on Thursday, look at the rain blossoming in the western half of the state. There's Friday, and look how wet it is out in the western half. I-77 westward. There's Saturday and there's Sunday. So, you know, by at the end of the 7-day total, look at that 7-day total. You'd think there would be something tropical happening in the western half of the state, but it's actually in the east. But the western half of the state's getting more rain, again, mainly because of a non-tropical system. Okay, so anyway, wind and rough surf and coastal flooding in the east due to Erin, heavy rain and possible flooding in the west due to other weather reasons. Okay, all right, so that's our briefing for our routine briefing for Central North Carolina for today. And I will leave you with this slide.